The alarms blared through the corridors of the Galactic Emergency Medical Station as Noah Sullivan regained consciousness, his vision blurry and head pounding. Blood trickled from a gash on his forehead, but that was the least of his concerns. The mining expedition to Proxima Centauri's asteroid belt had gone catastrophically wrong when their ship collided with an uncharted debris field. Now, as the sole survivor, he found himself in what appeared to be an alien medical facility, surrounded by beings he'd never encountered in his 12 years as a deep space miner. "Patient is conscious," announced a tall, slender figure with iridescent blue skin and 4 arms. The alien's voice translator produced a slightly mechanical but understandable English. "Vital signs stabilizing, but infection spreading rapidly in lower extremity." Noah tried to sit up, but searing pain shot through his right leg, forcing him back down with a groan. He looked down to see his leg swollen to twice its normal size, an angry red line crawling upward from a deep puncture wound just above his ankle. "Don't move," ordered another alien, this one with violet skin and enormous eyes that seemed to take up half its face. "You suffered significant trauma. The metal fragment penetrated deep tissue." "Where am I?" Noah managed to ask, his throat dry and voice hoarse. "Zenith Medical Station, orbiting Proxima Centauri B. I am Kelrax, Chief Medical Officer. This is Nurse Thylara." The violet alien gestured to the blue 4-armed being who was now examining a holographic display of what appeared to be Noah's internal anatomy. "The infection is spreading quickly," Nurse Thylara said, her tone urgent. "We must remove the affected tissue immediately." Noah attempted to focus on his surroundings. The medical bay was unlike anything he'd seen on Earth or human colonies. Everything seemed to glow with a soft, pulsing light. Various instruments floated in mid-air, and the walls themselves appeared to be alive, changing color and pattern in response to activity in the room. "How bad is it?" Noah asked, already knowing from their concerned expressions that the answer wouldn't be good. Chief Medical Officer Kelrax's large eyes blinked in a sequential pattern. "The pathogen in your wound is unknown to our database. Your immune system is not responding appropriately. We must intervene aggressively." Nurse Thylara approached with what looked like a transparent gel pad. "This will temporarily contain the spread. We need to prepare for a more permanent solution." As she placed the cool gel on Noah's leg, he winced at the initial sting before a numbing sensation spread through the limb. The relief was immediate but short-lived as he caught sight of his leg. The infection had created veins of dark red and purple spreading from the wound site up toward his knee. "That doesn't look good," Noah muttered, fighting back a wave of nausea. "It is not," Kelrax confirmed bluntly. "The pathogen appears to be consuming your tissue at an accelerated rate. Our standard antimicrobial protocols are ineffective." Another alarm sounded from one of the floating monitors. Nurse Thylara rushed to examine it, her 4 arms working simultaneously across different interfaces. "The infection has increased spread by 28% in the last 2 minutes, she reported, her voice rising. "We cannot contain it with conventional methods." Kelrax moved to a control panel. "Prepare the surgical suite. We may need to amputate to save the patient's life." "Amputate?" Noah's voice cracked as panic set in. "Wait, there has to be another way." "Your Earth physiology complicates matters," Kelrax explained. "We have limited experience with humans. The last human patient we treated was 3 standard cycles ago." Noah's mind raced. He wasn't ready to lose a leg. There had to be another option. "What about an aggressive antibiotic treatment? On Earth, we sometimes use powerful antibiotics for serious infections." Nurse Thylara looked at Kelrax, her head tilted in what Noah interpreted as confusion. "Antibiotics?" she asked, clearly unfamiliar with the term. "Yes, medicines that kill bacteria," Noah explained, struggling to stay focused through the pain. "If this is a bacterial infection, maybe something from your pharmacy would work? Something strong enough to kill the infection without killing me?" Kelrax's eyes dilated with interest. "Describe these antibiotics in more detail." Noah tried to remember his basic medical training from the mining company's emergency protocols. They target bacterial cell walls or protein synthesis. Some are broad spectrum. Others are specific to certain types of bacteria. Fascinating, Kelrack said. We have similar compounds, but we rarely use them in such concentrated doses. The concept of deliberately introducing a toxin to kill an infection is unconventional in our medical practices. Nurse Thylara's skin changed to a paler blue, which Noah guessed indicated concern or disapproval. That approach sounds dangerously primitive. The collateral damage to the patient's system could be extensive. Noah grimaced as another wave of pain shot through his leg. Trust me, I'd rather risk the side effects than lose my leg. Kelrack seemed to consider this. We could synthesize a compound similar to your antibiotics but calibrated for your physiology. It would be experimental. I'm willing to try, Noah insisted. Please. After a moment of what appeared to be silent communication between the aliens, Kelrax nodded. Very well. Nurse Thylara, prepare a targeted antimicrobial compound based on the human's description. Use the biological data we've collected to optimize it for his system. Thylara moved to a workstation, her 4 arms operating different instruments simultaneously. Noah watched in fascination despite his pain as she manipulated what appeared to be molecules on a holographic display. This is highly irregular, she muttered, her translator conveying her disapproval clearly, deliberately introducing a toxin into the patient. While she worked, Kelrax explained their approach to Noah. Our standard protocol would be to isolate and remove infected tissue, then use regenerative therapy to regrow healthy tissue. But the rapid spread of this particular pathogen makes that approach risky. How long until we know if it's working? Noah asked. If effective, we should see results within 1 hour, Kelrax replied. If not, we proceed with amputation immediately. Noah nodded grimly. Understood. Nurse Thylara returned with a shimmering blue liquid contained in what looked like a glass sphere. The compound is ready. I've attempted to balance potency against toxicity, but I must register my formal objection to this procedure. Noted, Kelrax said. Proceed with administration. Thylara attached the sphere to a device that looked somewhat like an IV pump. As the blue liquid began to flow through a transparent tube toward Noah's arm, he noticed it seemed to glow from within. This may cause significant discomfort, Thylara warned. Your system will perceive it as an attack. I understand, Noah said, bracing himself. When the compound entered his bloodstream, Noah immediately felt a burning sensation spreading from his arm through his chest and eventually reaching his infected leg. He gritted his teeth to keep from crying out, but couldn't suppress a groan of pain. The patient is experiencing distress, Thylara exclaimed, her skin darkening to a deep blue. Heart rate elevated, stress hormones spiking. We should terminate the treatment. No, Noah gasped. Keep going. I can handle it. Kelrax monitored Noah's vitals closely. Continue the treatment, but prepare emergency protocols in case his system goes into shock. The burning intensified, and Noah felt as if his blood had been replaced with fire. Sweat poured from his body, and his vision blurred. Through the haze of pain, he could see Thylara's agitated movements as she monitored his condition. The human's temperature is rising dangerously, she reported. This is causing system-wide inflammation. It's not just fighting the infection, it's attacking his entire body. That's how it works, Noah managed to say between ragged breaths. It has to get worse before it gets better. Thylara looked horrified. This is barbaric. We're causing deliberate harm. Kelrax placed a hand on a scanner. Interesting. The infection spread has slowed by 12%. The compound appears to be working, albeit with significant side effects. For the next 30 minutes, Noah drifted in and out of consciousness as the antibiotic compound battled the infection. Each time he opened his eyes, he saw Nurse Thylara hovering nearby, her skin cycling through various shades of blue that he guessed reflected her emotional state. Finally, the burning sensation began to subside, replaced by a dull ache. Noah opened his eyes to find both aliens studying a three-dimensional projection of his leg. "The infection has been contained," Kelrax announced. "The spread is halted completely, and there are signs that the infected tissue is beginning to clear the pathogen." Relief washed over Noah. "So I get to keep my leg?" "It appears so," Kelrax confirmed, "though the damaged tissue will require significant regenerative therapy." Nurse Thylara approached, her skin now a lighter, calmer blue. "I don't understand. We deliberately caused a harmful reaction, yet it resulted in improvement. This contradicts fundamental medical principles." Noah attempted a weak smile. "Sometimes healing hurts. It's a human saying sometimes things have to get worse before they get better." Thylara tilted her head. "A curious philosophy. Deliberately causing harm as a path to healing seems counterintuitive, but effective in this case," Kelrax noted. "We should document this approach for future human patients." Over the next few days, Noah's condition steadily improved. The infection receded completely, and the alien medical team began regenerative treatments to repair the damaged tissue in his leg. The process was remarkable. Noah watched in fascination as dead tissue was dissolved and new, healthy tissue grew in its place. Nurse Thylara became his primary caretaker, and despite her initial horror at the antibiotic approach, she showed great interest in learning about human medicine. During one treatment session, Noah tried to explain the concept further. "Humans have been using antibiotics for over a century," he told her as she adjusted the regenerative field around his leg. "Before that, infections like mine would have meant certain death or amputation. But to deliberately introduce a toxic substance," Thylara's large eyes blinked rapidly. "In our medical tradition, the first principle is to do no harm." "We have that too," Noah explained, "but sometimes controlled harm prevents greater harm, like controlled burning to prevent wildfires." Thylara considered this. "Your species has adapted to an incredibly hostile environment. Perhaps that explains your medical philosophy." "Earth isn't that hostile," Noah said with a laugh, then winced as the regeneration caused a sharp twinge in his leg. "From our perspective, it is," Thylara countered. "Your planet is teeming with pathogenic microorganisms. Your bodies are constantly under siege." This gave Noah pause. He had never thought of Earth that way. "I guess that's true. We've evolved alongside those pathogens. Our immune systems are built to fight constantly." "Which explains your remarkable resilience," Thylara noted. "Most species would succumb quickly to the conditions you consider normal." A week after his treatment began, Noah took his first steps on his newly healed leg. The sensation was strange. The regenerated tissue felt different somehow, more sensitive yet stronger than before. "The new tissue has enhanced cellular integrity," Kelrax explained as he observed Noah walking carefully around the medical bay. "We incorporated some improvements based on your genetic template." "You mean you upgraded my leg?" Noah asked, surprised. "Marginally," Kelrax replied. "Nothing that would make you incompatible with your species, but the tissue should be more resistant to future infections and injuries." Nurse Thylara approached with a hovering device that scanned Noah's leg as he walked. "Remarkable. Full functionality has been restored, and the new tissue is integrating perfectly with your existing systems." Noah completed a full circuit of the room without pain. "This is incredible. On Earth, an infection like that would have meant months of recovery, if not permanent damage." "Your Earth medicine is effective but primitive," Kelrax stated matter-of-factly. "Though I must admit your antibiotic approach proved surprisingly viable. We've added it to our treatment protocols for human patients." As Noah's recovery progressed, he began to learn more about the alien medical station. Zenith Medical Station served as an emergency treatment center for dozens of species, traveling through the